So this is the famous New York City restaurant row, where many of the restaurants cater to the theater crowds every evening. But now they have permitted outdoor dining, but still no indoor dining. But most of the restaurants along here have been given special permission to build an outdoor pavilion in front of their regular space. Now, some have not decided to put up an outdoor space, but many have, and rather than just some tables and chairs and tents, they've actually gone whole hog and put in flowers and lighting and rather nice seating, and they offer their full menu. This is a dim sum palace Chinese restaurant. This is a new bar that has just opened here a few weeks before the pandemic, so they haven't had much of a chance to get going. This is a place called Sangria 46, which is a Spanish restaurant. This is Le Rivage, which is French, which is very nice. This is Da Rosina, but they have stayed closed, but they've given Le Rivage their space in front. This is Maison Sevilla, which is Spanish food. Over here on this side is a place called Don't Tell Mama, which is kind of a piano bar. And they actually have a piano outside to keep the ambiance going. This is a place called Tito Murphy, and it was a couple of different things over the years, but I've never been into it since it was Tito Murphy. This is Bardot, which is just another small bar that just recently opened. Swing 46 is a very nice club. It's got a stage and a bandstand, and they have a full big band in there with singers and dancing and all of that. So it's really old-time New York adult standards music. But they sort of went whole hog with the nice setup outside here. And it's pretty big too. This is a Japanese place that does Japanese tapas and sake. Over on this side, this is Becco, which is a restaurant that is partially owned by Lydia Bastianich, the lady on TV that has the cooking show. She is part owner of a company that owns quite a few restaurants around New York and the US, but they have decided to not open outdoor dining. This is La Tanzi, which is an Italian place with a few outside tables. Here comes some of our little carriages. This is a couple of different places called Redemption. I think it used to be something else. Over on this side is a place called the House of Brews. You can imagine what that is. This is the Ritz. Ritz is a really big gay bar, and you have to serve food if you serve the drinks, so they put in a kitchen. They didn't normally sell food, but they can make some basic food now just so they can seat some people outside and sell drinks. This is an interesting place. It's a classic little restaurant called the Hourglass Tavern. You can look it up on the internet. It's a tiny little restaurant, and it's shaped inside like an hourglass with hardly any space. So they probably have 3 times more space outside now than they ever had inside. And that brings us to 9th Avenue, which is also getting a pretty good reputation for a food place. It's always been a food street, but mostly groceries, things like meat markets and vegetable stores and bakeries and specialty shops. But now it's mostly restaurants, and we'll take a look at a few of those. Even some of the smaller places over here on 9th Avenue, like this place, which is called Beer Cheese. It's owned by the guy who owns a liquor store right down the street, but they have a few people outside. This is Lily's, and they did a pretty elaborate job with the carpentry work and spacing their tables. And right next door is another place called O'Neill's, which is an Irish pub type place. And they've got a bunch of tables out here right next to the 4 lanes of traffic going down 9th Avenue, heading toward the Lincoln Tunnel. This is the Galaxy Diner. They always did have some outdoor dining, so it's not really anything new for them. But I come over here for breakfast because they're open long hours. I had breakfast actually here this morning. So that's that. This corner, 46th and 9th Avenue, is interesting because these are delivery guys that work for Uber Eats and Grubhub, because a lot of these restaurants make a lot of their money these days on deliveries. So these guys are here waiting for their apps to buzz and pick up the food and take it somewhere. This is Mercury Bar. Mercury Bar is kind of a sports bar, but they always had outdoor dining, so this is nothing new for them. But it's getting busy. It's about 5:30 on Saturday evening. This is Lucia. They have a restaurant downtown and one up here. Just opened a couple of months ago, but they've been closed until they were able to serve. But they put a very nice outdoor dining area here. It's Chinese, kind of a modern take on Chinese food, but my friends took me for dinner here for my birthday a week or so ago. And right next to that is this place called Obao, which is another Asian themed place with some nice outdoor tables. And I never had a chance to go into this place, the indoors, but I'll probably try it eventually. This was a very big restaurant here on the corner of 45th Street. And they were one of the first restaurants to start serving food and drinks outside, but I think they did so illegally before they had a chance to do that. So now they are closed, completely closed. And they even built this big outdoor pavilion, but it's never been used. It just sits here. So maybe they'll redeem themselves at some point, get back in business. This was a little Turkish restaurant that has pretty good food, but they have been closed for several months. They just recently put a handful of tables outside and started doing their outdoor dining. This is a tiny little place. Mostly it's just a retail store. They sell baked goods, they sell baklava and really good stuff, but they decided to put just a handful of tables and a lot of pretty flowers out front. It's called the Poseidon. It's been here for probably 50 years or so. Over there is Mamma Mia 44. Eat there a lot. It's an Italian place. It's family owned. It's been here since 1971, which is exactly the same year that I came to New York. And she has some outdoor dining that she put up. There's along the street here. This has been here for a while. But then they built that extra little pavilion there with the white tent top, and then another little pavilion outside here on 9th Avenue. But this is one of our go-to neighborhood places for sure. Very empty on the inside.